Let me ask you about the deal that was announced yesterday, or the reprieve that we saw yesterday. I don't know if we know for sure whether there were any concessions from China yesterday on that phone call, or whether this was purely a move unilaterally by the president to make it easier for consumers at Christmas time. Did China blink on anything, or was this totally unilateral?
There had been all sorts of research done before. There were public hearings about what items to put on, and nobody wants to take any chance of disrupting the Christmas season. We don't think there was much.
So you're saying we didn't extract anything from China to do this? There was no quid pro quo?
Not a quid pro quo.
No quid pro quo.
A decision made to do what we decided to do, namely just be a little extra protective.
The president said, we'll see whether they follow through this time on some ag buys, right, which seemed to indicate to some people that there was some behind-the-scenes maneuvering and some tentative deal there, too. Do you know? Can you comment on that?
Well, going back to when we broke off the talks, they had very publicly, when we were all in the Oval Office, committed to buying lots of soybeans, doing all kinds of things, in addition to that we thought we had a very detailed deal on the basic trade issues. They didn't deliver on any of that, and I think that's what the president was referring to.
You also are saying that where you'd like to get, and maybe there's the phone call resumption in 2 weeks that we're going to see on the phone.
Right.
Do you think you said they might be back to where they were before things broke down on some of the big issues, IP, some of the things that we say that they reneged on? Are they back to where they were, or are they getting in that position, or has there been no movement whatsoever?
I think until something is really formally announced and mutually agreed, it's a little premature to say where anybody is. But we had three objectives in the beginning. Those are the same three. One was increase current trade, reduce the deficit. That's the easy part. If that's all we wanted, would have had a deal 2 years ago. Second part was structural reforms. The problem of technology transfers being forced, problems of not fair market access to foreigners, that whole list of things you're familiar with. That takes legislation, and that's a big ask. But the third and most important is a deal that's verifiable and enforceable. We need all three components, so it isn't a question of just agreeing on something.
But it's often these in-person negotiations that are much more productive than any of the phone calls that have transpired. Did China commit to coming to Washington in early September?
I don't think it's a question about anybody committing to anything. What we're interested in is having discussions that focus on where we thought we were.
But the White House has said frequently that they have invited the Chinese delegation to Washington in early September for negotiations. Is that formalized?
I don't believe a date has been set. You'll notice all that was discussed was perhaps another phone call in a couple of weeks.
Today is also a significant day because I believe it's the day that the 3-month general license that was provided to Huawei comes up. Can you update us?
No, it comes up on Monday.
Okay. Can you update us then on where that process stands to issue more specific licenses?
On Monday, I'll be happy to update you.